Well, obviously, it was exciting to have our first real walk-off win. We had one earlier this year to make it a 10-run game, but this was our first true walk-off win, and you forget how exciting those are when you've been away from the game and you have your first one. Just real happy for KJ. It was a beautiful swing he put on that ball, and had a lot of confidence in him. Gave him the green light, 3-0. Tried to do a little bit too much with that pitch, but then with 2 strikes, he just had a great approach and tried to go the other way, and worked out well for us. I thought we pitched great all night, and it was a good victory for us.
Questions for KJ?
KJ, can you just take us through that swing there, and if you were sitting on anything, 3-2 or what?
Yeah, honestly, I was looking for a fastball right down the middle of the whole at bat, and I finally got it and put a good swing on it and was able to get it done.
I've got 2 random questions for you. Sometimes you go batting gloveless. Sometimes you put one on. Is there a rhyme or reason to that?
Honestly, I'm just mixing it up. I go with whatever feels good.
And the ball that got stuck in your glove on Saturday, first time that's ever happened to you, and did you consider just trying to throw your glove across the field?
I mean, I've never even seen something like that, and I haven't had it happen. On a line drive, I've had it happen, but definitely not on a ground ball.
KJ, you had your teammates chase you out to the outfield. They were ripping your shirt off. Just what's it like to have that walk-off hit and have that moment with your team?
Yeah, it was awesome. They got mad at me for running so far, but I told them they were all chasing me, so I just took off.
Any other questions for KJ?
It's the second midweek in a row Jackson's pitched very well. With only 2 midweek games left this season, do you look at maybe him as someone who could help you on weekends?
Yeah, that's why I took him out after the 5th inning. His pitch count was still very manageable, but this way we can have him available for Sunday if necessary.
Coach, before the season started, you talked about your confidence in a freshman like KJ to have him as a starter. You now have him, Gavin Breland, and Bo Hollins all showing up in your infield as freshmen. They had some big outs defensively, and Gavin got on base to set up Nathan Hall tonight. Can you talk about how they've risen to the occasion?
Yeah, I throughout my coaching career, I've always had, a lot of courage to play freshmen. I don't really care what year they are. I'm going to play the best guys, the guys that I think give us the best chance to win. And, Scobey, I told you right from the start, his defense was so stellar at that position that I think is the most underrated position on the field defensively. If you don't have a good third baseman, it'll show up. And he's not only good, he's great. And even if he hit 200 or below, he'd still be the everyday third baseman just because he plays so great. And Bo, his story is well told. I mean, his defense is outstanding as well. You can't sacrifice offense for that position. But I told him because of his defense that, if we had one-sided wins or whatever, I would get him into games early because I knew that defensively he would be good for us, and not to take those at-bats lightly, even if it's in mop-up duty, so to speak. And every time I put him in the game, it seemed he hit a ball hard. And then finally, early in the year, I gave him a start, and he played really solid game. I gave him a start the next day, played awesome at the Citadel. And ever since then, basically, he's been a starting player, and he's been swinging the bat great, playing great defense. Made a little bit of a mental mistake on the second error by Tippett on the ball in the hole. He's got to learn that if he doesn't have him, with a pick, he's got to come off the base and block that ball up. But the runner got into scoring position and then came home on a single. But those are the things that a young kid has to learn, and they only learn it by playing. So sometimes you have to go through the growing pains. And in Braylon's case, he's just a gritty little hard-nosed son of a gun, and I think the world of him because of the way he plays. And our pitchers pitch their best when he's behind the plate, and that's why he catches most of the time now.
So before KJ's hit, Jordan Carrion had a good swing on the ball.
Yeah.
But that came after he had, bunted 3 balls
Yeah.
foul. Was there anything that you said to him post the bunt strikeout, but before his final at bat, that you feel like might have helped him
I
be
don't
ready?
think what I said to him helped him necessarily. I wasn't too happy with his effort on the bunt, especially with 2 strikes. I don't know why he tried to bunt the ball down the third baseline. That didn't make any sense. We don't practice that, but he's had a little bit of a rough time. He didn't have a great weekend, and he's been so good for us since we inserted him, all year. And I knew it was just a matter of time before he did something good for us. And he hits the ball the best when he hits the ball to the opposite field. Sometimes, like most kids, they get pull happy because they think it's more macho to be able to pull the ball. But Scobey's the same way. He hits the ball so hard the other way that I don't know why they don't do it most of the time, But I was really happy for Jordan. He had a difficult weekend this past weekend, and he went out there tonight. And, the first couple of at-bats weren't so great, but he ended up coming through when we needed it most.
You have an update on Dylan or Henry? SQ and
No update on Dylan, and Henry just has a sore leg from the other day, so we don't know we don't think it's a pulled muscle. We think it was a bad cramp, and it's just been sore for a couple of days.
So you should be ready for the weekend.
Hope so. Not sure.
Thank you.